I was asked a question about 3D foams or 3D repeating meshes that you can make in Alibre after I published this one video about file formats. I thought that would be an interesting video to make, so let's get into it. So here's one example of some repeating geometry that I've made. Here is another. Let's go ahead and make these and see what we can do. Let's start with a new part. I'm going to select a plane and begin a sketch. I'll make a circle, give it a diameter of 0.75. We'll make a plane. We'll go distance of 1. We'll make a circle. I'll go a distance of 1 yet again. Maybe we'll give that something like a quarter. We'll deactivate that from here. I'll run a loft. I'm specifying a tangent on both ends. We'll say 0.25. 0.25. So maybe you're going to start seeing what I'm doing here. We're going to grab the center. Just like that. And then I can activate a sketch. I can project. And we're going to maintain association. And finally, we'll make that horizontal. We'll make a bigger rectangle, or even easier to constrain, a bigger circle. And this is simply a circle, so we flip which side of the shape that we cut. 5 is fine. We'll deactivate. We'll extrude cut through all. So you remember when you study materials, how you can study face center cubic and body center cubic, and it's a repeating pattern. I've kind of made one of those, right? Like a face center cubic here. And I can mirror. And mirroring is pretty easy when you just make sure that all your faces are highlighted. You choose a mirror plane. So let's grab this edge and make a fillet. 0.01 looks fine. And we'll apply that. Now you can pattern this in the part environment, and no problem. But if you don't mind multiple files, patterning in the Boolean environment is a great way to go. It's very easy to pattern all of the bodies as almost like a multi-body part. I think it works very well. Let's give that a try. Go ahead and save this. And start a new part. And from here, we'll simply click Boolean Unite, select our part. I like to put it right on the origin. We'll right click and anchor part. If I wish, I can select two faces with the Shift key held, and I can see that the distance between them is 2 inches. So we'll do a linear pattern. Our path will be this axis. Give it, say, 5. I'll give this a distance of 2. We'll select a linear path. We can select this axis. Maybe another 5. A spacing of 2. Select another linear path. This axis. Give this a spacing of 5 at a distance of 2. So we've created something that's basically face-centered cubic. I mean, we are going to meet up in the exact same places every time. So when we go to pattern this, the pattern just works out by itself. But everything we've talked about so far has covered modeling something, right? Adding material. But I think there's an even cooler way of doing it, and that's removing material to achieve the same end. Let's take a look. And in this new part environment, we'll grab the XY plane, grab a center rectangle. We'll give this, let's say 2. We'll make a horizontal. We'll grab an equal. And there we've got a constrained square. We'll extrude. We'll go 2 at midplane. Just like that. From here, I can sketch on a face, and we can remove things to make this also like a face-centered cubic sort of geometry. I'll grab an arc. We'll make it vertical. We'll go with coincident on all of these points. Then I'll go with 0.75. Doesn't look very bad. Fill it in with a line here. And then we'll exit the sketch. We'll go with revolve on this axis. I'll go with a circular pattern. And then I'll go with a mirror. Just like that. Let's handle these corners. Go with vertical, vertical again, and then coincident onto this edge. Give a final radius, maybe I'll go with 0.4. No, 0.5. I like that. Okay, 0.5. And then make sure that I've added a horizontal there to fully constrain everything. We'll choose revolve, subtractive revolve, of course. And there we are. We'll want to pattern that in a circular pattern. We'll choose our center here. There's our pattern. Just like that. One more to go. We're going to say sketch here. And in fact, if we'd like to have a bit more of a thorough look, we're going to go precise section and apply that. Now if I get back into a sketch, we'll find when I reset my view is I'm looking at half of the part now, right? Much easier. We'll create a circle. Create a line and another line. I can trim half the circle away. I can choose a distance. 0.5 is going to be way too small, so we'll go with 1, too big, 0.75, right in the middle. Probably just right. I'm going to make it a little bit bigger, 0.85. We'll deactivate. We'll go with a revolved cut. Here's our axis. And we'll say OK to that. So there is half of our figure. All right, we can take this out of the view. Not too shabby. We'll add a fillet. We're going to say 0.025. I'll highlight the inside face. And I can highlight all of these faces that are not connected to the outside faces. And I can close. From here, I'll do the same thing. We'll save. I'll create a new part for Booleans. I'll go with Boolean unite, choose the file that I've just created, and there's our origin. We'll make sure that we have that anchored. We'll go with a linear pattern. Our path is vertical. I'll give this 5 rows. And we'll give that a distance of 2. Along this axis, we'll give that a distance of 5 and 2, or a number of 5 and a distance of 2 rather. Let's do the same thing. This axis, 5, distance of 2. There's our repeating geometry. So again, our whole goal here, I'll hit the green check. Our whole goal here is to come up with a pattern that can match up with itself in all 3 axes. So in this case, this face matches up with this face, and we can repeat them, and then this face matches up with this face, right? And then these faces, if we repeat, match up with these faces. So if you have that built into your part, then you can repeat it, and it's very smooth. So that would be the general principle behind these repeating meshes. You're able to match up the faces and repeat them in every direction as much as you want, and they all match up and appear smooth. So I hope you find that helpful. Thank you for watching the Alibre channel. Please subscribe, and see you in the next one.